Hello, people of the internet. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Monday to you all. It's good to be back. We're playing a lot of catch-up, and we probably will continue to play quite a bit of catch-up over the course of the next week or two. That's because, my goodness, there is so much stuff that has dropped. But I'm going to start off with the really late stuff that we missed, going back to last Wednesday, because we had something like 7 or 8 groups I needed to check out last week on that day, which is enough for at least almost like 2, maybe 3 days worth of stuff. But let's jump right into it. LIGHTSUM are back after what feels like 84,000 years since Alive dropped. But we are back with some LIGHTSUM music. My goodness, I genuinely cannot believe it's been so long since we've had new music from them. Because they've had some contents here and there. They had like a cake on stage last year. They also had a member lineup change. I believe there's 6 now. Admittedly, I don't really know the group that well to really know. Like, I haven't followed this group like at a pretty close scale at all. So we have checked out some of their music before. I think actually it might only be 1 song from LIGHTSUM, and it was from a viewer request, and it was on a B-side from the Alive album. I think that's the only piece of LIGHTSUM content we've had so far. So, we've got new music. Let's jump right into it. This is Honey or Spice by LIGHTSUM. Let's get into it. DJ, roll the intro. Right, and I have no idea what direction LIGHTSUM are going to go with this. Just based off of their previous, 3 title tracks, Vanilla, Vivace, and Alive, could get something a little bit punchier, but then again, they are kind of, new lineup could mean new kind of musical identity for them. I don't know. I haven't listened to any teasers or anything like that. I also know there's an album attached to this due to time constraints and like recording time constraints in particular. In my current living arrangements, I really only have like a couple hours a day to really properly record, like me talking into a microphone and things like that. So to save time, especially because we're catching up on a lot of music, I'm going to be listening to albums off camera. I will be writing my thoughts about every B-side in the comments below. I'll probably pin that comment for the album review just so I can actually talk about it. Because I do find that talking, or at least like actually thinking about an album, makes me appreciate it a little bit more. So we'll be doing that. If you're interested in my thoughts, down below. But let's get into the title track. Here we go. Those people who watch Queendom Puzzle, we had Sanga on the show. But apart from that, really, we haven't really seen a whole lot from everyone else, so. Is Hina blonde this time around? I just clocked that. Like, I was trying to think of what to say at the beginning, what I needed to cover, and then I just clocked that. Wait, Hina's blonde. Okay, it's got the punchiness I expect from a LIGHTSUM track already. I like the build. Oh, this is different. Whoa! What an interesting take on the post-chorus. I love how punchy that brass is in the beat. But also, the vocal part is very different. They're definitely embracing like the bounciness the beat has, especially in the vocals as well. That's really interesting, that like slowly descending bass line. Usually I wouldn't be a fan of stuff like that. It works with this though. Sorry, I was just appreciating the fact that Hina got lines again. Oh. Sama is just so cool. Her aura is just cool. My goodness. This post-chorus is very characterful. Kind of surprised more by that part than the rest of the song. Honestly, that's a mood. Honestly, that's me waiting at the traffic light, or waiting for the traffic light to change when I'm driving, just like, oh, da, 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 and just like tapping along on the steering wheel or something as the song's playing in the background. I relate to that man heavily. But, hey, yo, that's kind of nice. It's... The thing about LIGHTSUM's music for me is it's always been kind of like, well, Alive, I think they kind of took it a little bit more of an energetic direction, but it's always been a little bit cutesy, but it's always had a decent amount of like, you know, bounciness and energy to it. Honey or Spice has kind of taken that cutesy nature and really matured it up a little bit. And I think it's a progression that I should have expected in hindsight, because you know, they aren't like baby rookies anymore. And kind of because haven't dropped new music for a long time, I feel like it's been a handful of years now since they made the debut. They weren't they a COVID group? They were 2020, 2021, weren't they? So they've been around for a few years now. But to hear the kind of maturity go this, like take this far of a leap in just one comeback, admittedly it's been, you know, more than a year since the last one, but this is a pretty big jump for a comeback. Do I like it? I like the direction they're taking with it. It's, I do wonder if it does have anything to do with, Cube removing the two youngest members of the group for it, but I mean, I'm not like a management side of things. I just ramble about music on the internet, so. That chorus is, it's very LIGHTSUM coded for me, but it's also like such a different take for me when I think of LIGHTSUM title tracks. Admittedly, I'm very much a title track merchant when it comes to them, so maybe they might have a B-side that's very similar to this in the past. I don't know. It's like they've decided to go... It's not Girl Crush. Not exactly. It's taking certain cues from it. It's got that heavier, like, dance... It's a slower, heavier dance beat, I think. I'm trying to think, you make me feel alive. I'm trying to compare like BPMs of the song. This is definitely the slowest title track they've done, but it's also, I think for me, the most bouncy title track that they've done, just because like each major beat of this slower BPM on this song, you feel the beat a little bit harder for me. I think up until now, in terms of like energy wise, I'd probably give it to Alive, because that is a song that very much got you up and moving. This is a song that gets you up and moving, but it's in a way where it's like you kind of like lean into every beat instead of hitting every beat like on a bounce. You just kind of like sway into every beat, if that makes sense. I'm waffling at this point, but no, this kind of more matured, slower take I like. It's but it's still very much got that kind of trademark lightsome like cutesiness to it as well. Such a nice long little, it's like I don't even want to call it a post chorus. I almost want to call it an interlude just because of how long it is. And it kind of like blends in or bleeds into the second verse, which I think is very cool. It's not a lot of songs will do that. And it's another one of those things where musically, had it been on a different song, I don't think I would have liked it as much. But because it's Lightsum doing it, it kind of fits, if that makes sense. Like there are certain groups where if they do something that's a little bit like musically different and I hear it, I don't really attach to it all that much. And when you kind of have that pitch sliding part, like the where there's no like really defined pitch, it's like a gradient in terms of the pitch. I don't really like it, mainly because my kind of classical music upbringing forces me to really appreciate like the perfect pitch in a way. But kind of like given the quirky music that Lightsum can do, I kind of like the fact that they're doing a little bit of that like pitch modulating. At the end of the day, it's brand new Lightsum music, and that's all that I could really ask for. It didn't really matter if like this became my new favorite Lightsum song or not. Admittedly, it's for me, it's been pretty hard to dethrone Alive. I really like Alive. But it doesn't need to dethrone it. It's just the fact that Cube have allowed Lightsum to produce and release new music, and that in of its own is great. Why it took so long, I have no idea. But at the end of the day, we're dealing with Cube here, so I'm just not going to question it. And I am very much looking forward to listening to the B-sides on it. Again, it'll be written as a pinned comment below. Keep your eyes peeled for that. That'll be out probably in the next couple of days or so if I can get around to it. But in the meantime, for the title track, that is it from me today. I greatly enjoyed it. Hopefully you did it as well. Thank you all for watching along with me. One last request from me today, let us work together as a community to bring a little bit of extra happiness back into the world, whether it be checking with your friends and family, holding the door open for somebody, or even picking up a piece of trash off the street. Just one small act of kindness that may brighten up someone else's day-to-day. Know that wherever you are in the world, should you ever be going through a tough time in your life, for whatever reason it may be, even though I'm just some guy on the internet who waffles about music in his free time, know that I will always be a friend, an ally, and a shoulder to lean on whenever you need me. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, spread the love, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.